I think my friend might be Bridezilla. Should I skip the wedding?
I mean, do you hear like thunderous footsteps in the distance? Do you hear the cries of Dinosaurus?
Then you might need to run.
You might want to.
I was asked to be at the wedding of a friend of mine. We are close and hang out regularly, but she and I do not have a history of talking about deep or serious things. I see her more as a party type friend. By the way, this comes from Miss Foodie Pants, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. When things have happened in my life, a breakup, death of a parent, health issues, she wasn't really there for me. I was surprised I was considered. I thought that was going to be like, she always, had my back. It was like, no, she's kind of terrible.
Yeah, she was kind of one of those friends who's not there for you.
She just sucks.
Yeah.
I was surprised I was considered close enough to be in her wedding. As some of us know, you can meet someone for 2 weeks and then be invited to their wedding. Panda Riley.
Panda Riley.
Yeah.
Invited to wedding.
Shout out to the wedding we're going to in a month. But I was flattered and excited to be asked to the wedding nonetheless. The bride booked a wedding venue that cost $25,000 just to rent the estate.
Oh.
This does not include food, beverages, tables, chairs, etc., etc.
Wouldn't you just like want $25,000 for anything else besides just being at a place?
Hey, it's pretty. I'm going to be a princess in my castle.
No, but
and you tell me you're going to put a price tag on it?
But it's not yours though.
Oh, it's mine today.
If you bought the castle for $25K, I'd be like, phenomenal.
So you're
deal.
telling me I'm not a princess queen that deserves everything?
I would never tell you that on your wedding.
But you just did. Uninvited. Uninvited. Just kidding. You're invited. So her original budget was $30K all in. She figured she would subsidize the exorbitant rental costs by charging the out-of-town guests that were coming into the wedding to stay at the estate, which would sleep over 25 people.
You're subsidizing the cost of your wedding with your friends.
She is offering them a room, though.
What are you, the CIA? Like,
CIA?
Yeah.
Do they charge for?
They subsidize. I was watching some secret agent stuff last night and this morning, dude. Like secret agents, they're all over the place. You might actually be like walking into like the vacuum store and you buy a vacuum there. Just kidding. Those are all CIA operatives, but they did just sell you a vacuum.
Oops.
It's crazy. They're all over. They're out there.
They're trying to suck the truth out of me, but I won't let them. I won't let them. Not today, Satan.
Oh my God.
Back to the agent of evil that is this Bridezilla. She asked me if I was okay with paying $200 a night for the room, which I said yes to, as this is a going rate for the hotels in the area and it would be nice to just stay on the premises. I knew I was sharing my room with the maid of honor, but I was under the impression that the $200 was for both of us. Soon after accepting, my new boyfriend was also invited to attend with me. At this point, I asked if we could have our own room instead, if there was one still available. She tells me yes. The cost will just be $400 a night.
Your wedding is not that cool. Sorry, dude. You know what $400 can get a night can get you? Pretty much anywhere you want.
Dude, honestly, I feel like she was on the line or close to something. Because listen, literally last night, me, Riley, Sam, and Naima booked all of our stuff, right? It's not $0. Like, we're still spending money. So I do think it is kind of an interesting idea of like, oh, what if you have like a wedding venue that also has like rooms or something and you can kind of like configure it?
John, this is what I want.
Yes.
Okay.
Riley's
Big
wedding.
house in the woods.
Yes.
And it's huge. And then in the backyard, you do the wedding, and then everyone stays in the house like that weekend.
And you just say, hey, would you be down to spend $50 a night to help cover it instead of doing it's cheaper than a hotel. And see, this is where I'm like, this could have actually been a great idea.
Yeah.
But she fumbled the bag.
Why don't we just have everyone sleep in their cars? What are we doing?
Or, hear me out.
Why don't we go further?
Hear me out.
Tents.
Tents, yes! Harry Potter that. Remember when they went to the games and they went in the tents and there were houses in the tents?
Well, those were TARDIS tents.
Okay, get TARDIS tents.
They don't.
What tents?
TARDIS?
Oh.
Doctor Who? Bigger on the inside.
I see.
Yep.
Bigger on the inside.
Gotcha.
It's like a genie bottle. You know how like they got a whole mansion in there?
Do they? I thought the whole thing was that the genie bottle was cramped.
That's what they want you to think. They're actually
Mm.
comfortable.
Those genies, yeah, they've got it made. They're just,
Sometimes
they're
you
just
never
looking
know.
for sympathy, those genies.
Dude, how did we get here? This is amazing. Well, Opie says, I told her I was confused as it was $200 a night before. And that rate was for me to not only share a room, but to share a bed with this maid of honor. Oh, saucy. At this point, I told her that I simply could not afford to pay that much. It would have been $1,200 for 3 nights.
Crazy.
Yikes. She continued to push about how she wanted the entire wedding party to stay at the venue. Mind you, it's a destination wedding, and this was 8 months before the wedding, so she would have been easily able to fill my spot if needed. And there were plenty of rental options nearby, even walking distance from the estate. She doesn't care. She don't care.
She does not care.
I ended up writing her an incredibly uncomfortable email telling her all the trips she had planned, all based around visiting family, the holidays, and one wedding that my boyfriend is in 2 weeks before that wedding, and how I simply could not afford it and wished I could.
I can't afford to pay for your wedding. My bad.
Hey, could you just give me a rent for my wedding?
Come on.
Give it to me.
Come on. Subsidize me.
Yeah. This is your wedding, your responsibility. I'm sorry. As much as I do love the idea of like what Riley talked about, like renting a room in a cabin or something like cute and cool like that. This is your wedding.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
it's your responsibility.
You can't stomach $25K for the estate. Guess what? Oh my God, you don't have to. You don't have to do that.
Incorrect.
You could go to the beach. Let's go to the beach.
Are you telling me that me as a princess should have to abandon my castle and go on the beach
Yeah.
with the poors?
Yes.
With
And
the
if you
peasants,
keep
the poors.
talking like that, I'm gonna turn you into the Little Mermaid because I'm throwing you in the ocean.
But you forgot one thing. I got beat.
What do you call them? What's this? Legs. After that, I got. Okay, no, we can't sing that. We can't sing that. We can't sing that.
Back to the story.
Disney will drone strike the house if we sing that.
Yeah. Please, Mouse. She didn't respond to the email, and we agreed to meet in person to discuss it. When we went out before our meeting to talk about this, my boyfriend texted me with a surprise that he bought us tickets to a concert that I wanted to go to, but I had thought the tickets were too expensive. I was excited, and I shared this news with the group about how sweet she was. I sense a disturbance of the force. That night, I got a few extremely angry texts suggesting that we had the money to go to some stupid random concert, but we're giving her grief about paying $400 a night. She went on to say that my boyfriend should just pay for half to help with the cost. She said she's offended and went on to say, if anything, I shouldn't go to the wedding 2 weeks before hers to save the money, in which my boyfriend is a groomsman and it's the first time I get to visit his hometown, which is a big deal to us.
This is just all choose the path of peace. What do you focus on your boyfriend? Forget this wedding, dude.
Yeah.
This is turning into a nightmare.
Remember, at the mere beginning of the story, Opie was like, hey, we weren't that close. She hasn't been there for me. So I was kind of surprised to be the wedding. This is like I'm sorry, but this seems like a throwaway wedding for OP, right? And then the wedding before, obviously, is not it's like a bonus. It's a bonus.
It's a great point that you bring up. Yeah, she's never really been there for me throughout all of the hardest events of my life. But I guess I'm involved in her wedding. Guess what? You don't have to be, especially if it costs $12K and the time you have to take off from work.
Yeah.
Both of you, I assume.
Yeah.
If you're out there for like 4 or 5 days, or I think it was 3, wasn't it? So that could be a weekend.
Yeah, 3 days.
But regardless, it's like, no, focus on you and your boyfriend.
Focus on you, my bro. I'm aghast and honestly feel like she's a selfish bridezilla and is off her rocker. Every time we talked about this, she gave me 2 options. 1, pay. 2, be the worst friend ever. Great option.
Are we even friends? Do you know my middle name? Well, that's actually kind of a hard one because I don't know anyone's middle name here.
OP says, I decided to go to the wedding without my boyfriend and shared the room with the maid of honor. Whoa. As previously committed without fully understanding my commitment. Fast forward a few months, and I have helped with looking for dresses, have spent countless hours working on crafts for the wedding, bought her a $75 gift, which she requested that I get her before the wedding so she can use it at the wedding. God, there's so many demands here. and have overall, in my mind, been a model bridesmaid. I have also been trying to coordinate with the maid of honor about the shower and the bachelorette. This might just be my my terrible reading skills, but I didn't even realize fully that she was a bridesmaid.
Yeah, like she's like in the wedding. It's not like she was just like invited. Like she has to she has duties.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, you're not even tapped into my life. Why am I your bridesmaid?
Why are we doing this?
Maybe they just don't have a lot of friends.
She's like, hey, we ran out of money for the crew, the wedding crew. How do I get free labor?
Yep.
Hey, you're a groomsman. Hey, you're a bridesmaid. Could you go and set up hours of decorations?
Mhm.
Could you pay me $400 a night?
Yeah, right. Not to mention now it's like, now you're obligated to stay here and
Yeah.
pay me. It's
Not
not
only-
just a racket.
Not only am I not going to pay you, you're going to pay me.
Yeah, this is a racket.
Wow.
Get out of there.
This is crazy. Now, I do not like the maid of honor at all. She is legitimately a crazy person who is known for exaggerating, except it's to the point of being an outright liar. She is very well off and is offering to pay for people's things, like paying a trip to Hawaii for a group of people and flights to Asia, and this makes me uncomfortable. She's also 10 years older than everyone in our friend group and is constantly inappropriately hitting on guys in our group and is constantly stirring up drama and telling lies. We need to drop out of this wedding.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm sorry.
it's trust your gut, dude. Like,
Yes. Get your time and life back.
if this was like your best friend for 15 years and like you've known each other forever, you've always been there for her, she's always been there for you, like, that'd be one thing.
Yes.
This is not that case.
She don't care about you. She don't care about you.
Go enjoy. Go take a trip with your boyfie.
Do that. Come on. She gossips, talks crap about her friends all the time, and is always making trouble. And I've had experiences with her in the past, and I do not care to be her friend or associate with her all. I've been burned before. We have never fought, and nobody knows how I feel except my closest friends. But I was really not looking forward to having to work with her for wedding festivities. For months, I've been inquiring about the shower and the bachelorette. I offered to throw a shower at my house. I offered to cook for it. Cooking in the shower, that seems a little challenging.
Hey.
Yada. Hey.
Hey.
Anyways, I also offered other local suggestions. She consistently read my messages on Facebook and didn't respond, or would answer part of my message, but not the most important question. Their wedding is on Halloween, and she decided 2 weeks ago to do the bachelorette this past weekend on Saturday. All she tells me is that she is going to pay for 10 girls to fly to Vegas and stay in a hotel for one night.
Oh my, no.
I doubt that. I guarantee you there's going to be a hidden itemized bill
Ooh.
involved with this trip.
Like, so many things pop up when I hear this. One, why not just use that money towards your subsidization so you don't have to charge your guests? And two, this just seems like a recipe for disaster with this group. I
agree, both fronts. Front number one, I say she's not intending to pay for any of this.
Yeah.
They're going to get there and she's going to be like, oh, something's like going on with the card. Like, Sandy, can you like put the room charges like on your card? I promise I'll pay you back.
Not gonna
That
happen.
would be my guess. That's
Guys,
my theory.
We need more shots, but like my card won't work.
Oh.
Ooh.
And dude, shots and drinks in Vegas where they're going to be going.
And you
Could be
got to
like-
gamble some.
Dude.
And you got to get
Oh,
some
no.
local talent. You got to get some dances.
Oh,
You gotta
no.
get some local talent.
We need some sausage packers to show up tonight.
Dude.
What?
Some sausage packers.
They got a lot of sausage.
They're packing the sausage.
in Vegas.
Yeah. They show up to your door disguised as a cop, but you're actually a sausage packer.
Sometimes a fireman.
And then you walk in. And
Boom!
then,
Field.
yeah.
I'm starting to sense what kind of sausage is being packed
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. A whole meat factory walks in your door.
Homegrown.
A whole homegrown salami shows up at your doorstep, slams on the table.
Do they do that?
Hey,
Look
you
it
can
up.
find out.
I
Look
need
it up.
a meat packing HR, please.
Oh, you don't want that.
Someone give me that number.
You don't want more info on that.
Christian.
Oh, God. So she says this Vegas trip is her gift to the bride and groom and that she's been planning on that for ages. She also says that we'll leave 8 a.m. on Saturday and we'll return at 8 a.m. from Vegas on Sunday, only to go straight to the bridal shower. So it's like 24 hours, including flights. This is insane. An exhausting weekend, to say the least. When she sends out the invite for the bachelorette, which is supposed to be free except for food, taxis, and shows, etc., she says donations are accepted and appreciated. This threw me and the other women attending because we were under the impression that it was free. I was asked via 4 different Facebook messages what kind of donation she was looking for, and expressed that many of us are tight on cash right now, and I think it would make everyone more comfortable to know what is expected of them in advance. $200, $400, $50? All messages read, no responses. I also pointed out that 4 people going to the bachelorette would be at a dinner party on Friday celebrating another friend's engagement. Dude, they're doing a Friday night dinner, hopping on a plane Saturday 8 a.m., 24 hours, returning back Sunday 8 a.m., and then somehow doing some other bridal shower, dinner, or some sort of event right after that.
And this girl's starting to sound like Sophia.
What?
She's all the time throwing parties, doing stuff, having
No,
a good
even
time.
this-
That's a crazy
This
analogy.
is way
Dude, I can't
too-
even let that fly.
This
That's
is
crazy.
this is beyond Sophia. That
Bro.
is.
Oh my God.
I'm leaving. Just hearing that,
Yeah.
I leave.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
if this is how the bridal shower and like bachelorette party is going to go, what is the wedding going to be like?
Yeah, I
Oh.
couldn't possibly stay after all of this nonsense. I
Also-
could not stay committed to the wedding. No way.
Also,
Talk to me.
the guy she's marrying,
What
that
Wh-
poor fella.
Haven't even thought about that guy.
is? Well, are they?
I mean, she's marrying someone.
They're spending like 25. Maybe they're just like nefarious.
She's a lot to handle.
You gotta
dude.
have at least a little money if you're just gonna spend what $30,000 on your wedding.
It sounds like she looks like she has money, but she's asking her friends to pay $400 a night and a donation.
Yeah, but that's just what inconsiderate, like narcissistic people would do. Where it's like, why wouldn't my friends want to pay to
But
be
if
at my
she was-
wedding?
Absolutely. Like, if the guy was rich, then she would just be like, "Oh, it's covered. I can do whatever I want."
That's true.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm getting the sense of this is
I don't
the live like the Joneses, but has negative. Is
Well, dude,
lives rich off of debt.
You can make 6 figures a year, but if you spend $30K on a wedding, that's a third of your salary for the year. Gone before tax. Gone. That's still a lot of money.
All I'm saying is don't let your future wife listen to this, bro.
Just I'm
Don't let her
throwing.
listen.
I'm gonna throw.
Plug her ear holes
We're gonna go under the sea.
where it's free.
Go to the beach. Down where it's public. Oh, girl, you'll love it. Take it from me.
Nice. Let's go. That was great. But back to the story. At this point, I had no idea she had booked the Vegas flights, as she never said anything except that she'd want to book them for 8 a.m. and that they were on hold. She didn't communicate this with anybody, and I was constantly being asked for clarification and details because I'm in the wedding party and nobody else we know is. Finally, she messaged me back a very long and angry message about how she's offended we are concerned with partying on Friday, and if anybody has an issue with that, they don't have to go, or they can pay the change fee to go later.
I'm like seriously offended at the amount of buzzkill in this chat, okay? If anyone's concerned about partying Friday and then immediately doing something else and on Saturday morning and then something else, if just like lose my number.
I'm sorry, I'm concerned about being awake for 36 hours straight. My bad. That's on me for not knowing anything that you didn't tell me.
I didn't know you were so weak.
It was extremely rude, especially because I've been nothing but polite and nice about everything. So I responded very sweetly and said that I had no idea she had already booked them and that she had been so generous and we were all happy to leave at 8 a.m. that there is no problem at all and we can just ignore that suggestion to come in around lunchtime instead. After she had read all the messages, she texted me 30 minutes later to say that she moved the flight and 2 of the girls' flights now came in at 3:40 p.m. and everyone else would arrive in the morning. Easy. So simple. Not crazy at all. I was aghast. Why would she do that when I told her I had no idea they were booked and to just forget about it? I knew she was using this as an opportunity to poison me to the bride and say how ungrateful I am and how I am more concerned with partying, quote unquote, the night before. I asked her why she did this and expressed that she didn't need to. No response. No response.
I'm not responding either. I'm leaving. I'm not responding to any of these people for months and months and months. Like,
I don't know why OP hasn't pulled out at this point.
Just drop off the face of the earth right now.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Turn off your phone and go to an island of some kind. For $1,200, you could find an island.
Yep.
Literally. Take that money and go on a vacation with your boyfriend. Although I wonder, I don't know if this was said explicitly yet or not. Did she already give her the money for the hotel stay?
Ooh, yeah, I wonder.
Right. I feel like yes. I feel like yes. Maybe we'll get confirmation. But Opie says the next day she messaged me that everyone's changed their flights to later, so it's all fine. Okay. The Bachelorette weekend was by far the worst weekend of my life.
Who could have seen that coming?
I have spent weekends in hospitals that were more bearable.
Yeah, at least there's a little bit of downtime in the hospital weekend.
Yeah, right? You doesn't get to rest.
Yeah, it feels like you had to run around for probably 60 plus hours while also around the most insufferable people.
Oh. As soon as we all hugged and said our hellos at the airport, she started with the sentence, "So, OP, since you moved the flights for everyone," I was taken aback. I couldn't even say anything. She said it so loudly in front of the bride, so that I was blamed for this. I didn't say anything as we just started the trip, and I was honestly hoping it was an isolated comment, and I didn't want to start a fight with her in front of everyone. She's crazy. I'd rather wipe my butt with her and her drama.
That's probably not going to make it better from the sounds of things.
You're going to get a rash.
Sounds like sandpaper.
Okay, yeah, for real. Dude, buttholes are sensitive. I learned that recently.
They're made out of the same cells as your lips.
Wait, time out.
That's the same kind of skin cells as your lips.
Right.
Time out. You learned that recently that your butthole is sensitive.
Buttholes are sensitive. It's just it's a universal thing. It's a universal thing. It's newly learned knowledge.
What?
Bro, you've had one your whole life.
Yeah, but like I'm not like trying to figure out how sensitive it is back there, you know?
No, this is just a fact. You could just Google it.
I don't know. That sounds like John went through some experimental things.
Nah, dude, it's just a
Riley,
fact.
are you trying to shame John for his sensitive butt?
I'm just trying to get more knowledge.
Wow.
Are you trying to say your butt's not sensitive, Riley?
It might be. I don't know.
Dude, all of our booty holes are
Riley, do you not wipe?
I do wipe.
Then you know.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That's what. Let's not entertain this nonsense that you
All right, whatever.
are unfamiliar with your own butthole.
All right. Sorry.
You've wiped it your whole life almost.
Dakota, a gentleman's shake.
I call
Thank
it like
you,
I
sir.
see it, okay? Like, that's all I do.
Oh, God. Well, booty holes aside, Opie says, I attempted to clear things up with the bride on the way to the plane and explained how when I had asked, I had no idea they were booked and told her not to change them.
What?
Is
What are
chat
you
going off right
whispering
now?
over there?
Harriet Spaghetti.
Yeah, no.
no.
That's a thing. That is
Sorry.
a thing.
Oh, gotta love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. Shout out to Harriet Spaghetti.
We found it.
Oh, baby.
Cursed.
Cursed. But she did anyways. She responded dismissively and said, yeah, I don't know anything about the flights. Okay. When we got to our suite, it's literally probably $10,000 to rent for the evening, if not much more. It had 2 bathrooms, a DJ booth, massage room, multiple lounges, a TV room with a bar and pool table, etc. The bride gets angry and says, "Oh, we should have come at 8 a.m.
Why are you doing all this for like one?
They literally have like an afternoon in there.
Yeah, it's like what?
When we could have used this $10,000 towards her castle.
Or like you could have used $10,000 to like buy jet skis.
Dude, no sense is being made here. Jet skis would make 10 times more sense than this.
Anything else?
I tried to explain my mix-up again in front of everyone, and nobody said anything. It was as if I was just speaking to myself. From this point on, anything I said, did, suggested, etc. was taken in the worst possible light. I was ignored, dismissed, and blamed for everything.
Okay, I leave. If this is happening,
Yeah.
after several hours, I leave.
We were barely friends to begin with. I think we need to just kind of like go our separate ways. Wish you the best,
Yep.
but I don't know. I feel like it's a chat. Let me know what you think. Please put in the comments below what you would do at that
I'm
point.
enjoying Vegas by myself, and I'm sleeping in the tunnels.
Yeah. Maybe we can poll it, leave or not. Leave or not,
Leave
chat.
or
What
not.
are we feeling?
Also, I feel obligated to say, don't go in the Vegas tunnels.
oh.
Don't go in there.
But what if I want to swim?
That's the
When-
worst thing you can do in there.
They
Yeah,
give me
yeah,
the
when
flush.
it's-
They
When
put the water in, they go.
that's why they're so dangerous, because when they flood, everything gets washed out.
But
and
then I can
everyone-
prove to the world that I am indeed the new Michael.
I don't know
I'm
if
gonna
that's
give you
what
that
we're
one.
looking
I'm
for.
gonna give you that one.
I can do it.
Let's give it to him.
Believe in me.
All right, I'm
Believe in me.
outnumbered here. I'm outnumbered. I gotta accept it.
So I suggested we go out to eat before a show, only to be snapped at and told they were ordering room service. We ended up going to eat because everyone was hungry, and that was the most practical thing to do. I spent $20 in craps betting and lost it in one roll, but then was basically called out by the bride for being cheap and not wanting to play anymore and just watch. When only her and the maid of honor were playing, this wasn't a group activity, and we had just said that we would leave to play something else. I got us all on the VIP list for Omnia that everyone said they wanted to go to. I'm guessing that's a club of
It
some
is.
sort.
It's a nightclub.
Dakota.
I've never been there.
From his days of debauchery.
I just know what it
has
is.
many stories. Oh God.
Actually, really quick, my
yes.
Vegas story.
mm,
I went there with my girlfriend at the time, and we fell asleep at 11:30, and woke up at 2, and went no. We were like, we're gonna take a real quick nap. Then we woke up in the middle of the night, and we were like, no, we messed it up.
wow.
I didn't think it was 11:30. I think it was like 9.
That's
We were
tragic.
like, we're gonna take a quick nap.
all through the night.
Slept
right?
through the entire evening.
Yeah. But hey, you got sleep.
We did get some good sleep out of it.
Sleep's cool too. I've got a crazy Vegas story. Maybe a ending OK Storytime story for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you make it to the end, don't freaking leave. Which is also one of the harder places to get into, only for everyone to arrive late, upset, and not order drinks the entire time. In fact, I was talking to my friend who got us in, only to be told that we were leaving without any warning. I quickly trailed behind my group by about 30 seconds, only to overhear them talking badly about me and how I was going to stay back and leave the party, which is something I have never done and would never do. Maybe we change that today, OP.
Yeah, maybe just do that anyway. What is up with?
Breathe.
Don't know why we do these things, man.
Bring the calmness.
Why are we
inside.
hanging out with a bunch of people who don't like us?
Now, everywhere we walked, the 3 cronies, the bride, her mom, and maid of honor, were always talking badly about me. I would hear them say my name, look back at me, and whisper. I was called out for being on my phone in the taxi, coordinating the Omnia VIP list because I was distracted and not being at the party. I did not take my phone out once except for pics for the group and coordinating the guest list, which only took during the cab ride.
Yeah. Also, what are you, my math teacher? I'm on my phone too much in the taxi. Who are you?
Illegal. Lock her up. When we got ready for the evening, the maid of honor told us to get ready in one of the spare rooms. We brought our stuff in there to get ready with no assumption that we would sleep in a bed because there weren't enough beds for people. Everyone else would sleep on a couch. In this room with multiple lounge rooms and pool tables and they have a DJ booth but
Yeah.
not enough beds.
You're telling me you spent 10 grand on a room and you forgot the most important part, the freaking beds.
Bro.
But
You
they're gonna be
doofus.
partying. They don't need to
You
sleep.
absolute doofuses.
God. Also, conspiracy theory, I'm just throwing it out there right now, and this is going to be a plot twist that changes the story. Bride hooks up with someone
Yeah.
during this bachelorette
I
party.
love that theory.
Yep.
I love that.
I'm calling it.
Oh boy.
I'm calling it. To be told later when I changed into my pajamas by the mother that I was not meant to sleep in there. I explained that I just left my stuff there to get ready and I knew I wasn't sleeping there. She went on and on about it as if I was trying to inappropriately take the room for the goddess that is the maid of honor. So by 2:45 a.m., everyone except for the 3 conies are starting to fade. Mind you, we all have flights back at either 8:30 or 9:30 a.m. We are like 6-7 hours away from our flights.
It's the worst trip I've ever heard in my life.
and we have to go straight to the bridal shower after we go home for 15 minutes of changing time. I have multiple sclerosis and have trouble walking and also have fatigue issues. I need to sleep. If I don't get sleep, I get sick and honestly can barely walk even with a brace. This is crucial, and everyone at this party knows that.
Yeah, and they're all probably talking bad about it behind your back.
Yeah, like, oh, she doesn't want to stay out with us.
Or directly to your face from the sound of it.
Yeah.
It's like they're not even, they're like, yeah, you with your stupid back. You stupid, and I hate you. And your back's messed up, and I hate you.
Sorry, I have an illness.
Yeah.
Sue me. Except I'll see you back. Opie says, I am pushing myself to the absolute max by walking all day and night in Vegas, drinking, which I don't normally handle well, and staying up late. The party had no signs of stopping, and beds/couches aren't being assigned. When I ask about sleeping arrangements, I'm ignored. In fact, the only thing I do here is the bride being a complete brat and talking badly, very loudly, about anyone who wants to go to bed as lame and ruining the party because it's her bachelorette party and we're in Vegas, and on and on. Also, since I'm sleeping on the couch, as pretty much the mother yelled at me and told me to do so, I can't sleep anywhere quiet. All of the lounges with couches are in open areas except for the room where people up are partying. So now they're partying in the room, in the hotel.
Why did we go?
This is so, yeah.
Why did we go? I wouldn't go to this. I hate this kind of stuff.
Yeah, OP doesn't deserve. OP is so within her right to leave, and she was like, "Oh, I've never, bailed, and I never would."
Who cares?
This is for your health.
Never bailing is a non-existent stat line that no one on the face of the earth is tracking except for you, and it's not doing you any good. It's not going to get you a job. It's not going to get you a partner. It's not going to do anything except make you miserable right now.
You don't
Just
deserve it.
be in touch with yourself, and if you're like, I hate this, I don't want to be here, don't be there.
You don't deserve it. Come on, too much. I can't sleep in a cold room without a pillow on a couch without any sheets or blankets, with music blasting, people playing pool, and being wasted and loud. I decided to attempt to go to sleep on the massage table with a sheet, only to fear that I would roll over and unalive myself by accident in the middle of the night. Yeah, because you're just flopping right on the ground if you do that.
I mean, how high up is the massage table?
Dude. I mean, dude, even just like 2 or 3 feet and you just fall back first with multiple sclerosis. That's a bad recipe.
The massage table is in Vegas, so I forgot there's like a pyrotechnic show that surrounds the massage table. You fall off and you just burst into flames.
It's part of the DJ booth. The pyrotechnics.
The pyrotechnic massage.
Oh, God. So I finally got up, and it's now 3:30 a.m., and everyone is still up and partying and has to be awake for their flight at 6 a.m. I'm assuming since nothing has slowed down, they aren't sleeping at all before their flight.
Yeah, babe, they're not.
They're not. I go back and ask if they're planning on staying up all night, and if so, if I could please have a bed.
Just Oliver Twist. Please, sir, may I have a bed, please?
Could I have a pillow?
Just one little bed, just for me, just a little bit.
A pillowcase to cuddle up under,
perhaps.
But I was told by the maid of honor that they weren't going to bed, and she said yes, that I could have one.
Okay.
And the first and only thing that's gone right this entire trip.
Yeah, the first shred of human decency I've seen.
I slept for 3 hours until we had to get up for our flight. Fast forward to the shower, the bridal shower, where the mother finds out that I slept in a bed, which the maid of honor came into eventually for a nap, I assume, and was chastised once again.
By who? The mom?
The mom.
The mom's like, you slept?
Yeah. You slept.
You disgust me.
Listen, Dakota, it's disgusting enough that she slept. But the ultimate crime is she slept in the maid of honor's bed who said it was okay to sleep there. How dare you assume just because she says, hey, it's fine, you can go ahead and sleep there, that you can go ahead and sleep in there.
I don't know what I was thinking. 15 years jail.
Yeah.
25 years jail.
Bro. Try 3,000 years.
Yeah.
We need to make an example out of you. Okay.
We're gonna put you in a jail cell and then launch the jail cell into low Earth orbit, and then you're gonna stay there for 3,000 years.
Now you get it. Now you understand. Oh, the wrongs you've
And
done.
we'll look up in the night sky and we'll say, there she goes, there goes OP. She slept in that bed for 3
in
hours.
the distance. So this maid of honor, I have never felt so mistreated or disgusted. This maid of honor has completely poisoned the bride and mother against me. My friend, the bride, doesn't even care enough to ask my side or has any interest when I say something other than what she's been told about me. This maid of honor is the savior as she has taken us all here, and I'm the ungrateful witch who is making everything difficult and being selfish. I have no interest in being her friend anymore and honestly considered flying home Saturday night and thought about dropping out of the wedding completely. Yes.
No, don't cheer. She's not going to do it. Yes.
At least
Thank
she's
God,
thinking
please.
about thinking
Let's
of it.
think about it. But do it. Do it. For God's sakes.
Yeah, we got to
Do it. This is like going to a wedding for your enemies at this point.
Yeah.
Why would you do it?
They obviously hate me. Why do they want me to be their whipping boy? What is going on? So Reddit, the wedding is this Saturday, and I am meant to go on Friday to help set up for the wedding. I'll probably be asked to move tables since I'm so mobile. Sarcasm. Besides the bride, maid of honor, and mom, everyone else attending are my close friends. Many I never get to see because they live in other countries. I want to go because I don't want to miss out on being with them. I love those people. However, I'm worried I'll continue to be the scapegoat for everything that goes wrong, talked about badly, and my weekend will still be completely miserable. Is it worth it to go? Should I drop out now? If so, do I say why or perhaps say I'm not feeling well or something like that? I feel like I should go, keep my head down and not allow them to abuse me. And I know that and I know what to expect. When the wedding ends, I'll distance myself massively until the bride is out of my life. Thoughts?
You don't know the bride, though. You just said you don't know the bride. You don't really know the bride. You don't know the maid of honor either. I mean, were all of these friends that you claim to be like close to or like missing? Were they all there on the trip that you just took, the bachelorette trip? Were they not there? Was it someone else?
Different. The bridesmaids, dude.
Like if any of those friends you're talking about are the ones that were there on that trip, don't go.
I think for clarity, I believe the friends she's referring to are just guests of the wedding that she has not seen or interacted through this whole journey so far.
Yeah, I would go with the context of all my friends I haven't seen in a bajillion years are there and I want to see them. I would go, and if you're asked to do anything, just be like, no, nope, can't do it. My back. My back. My back.
Yeah, there you go. Whoa, Riley.
Yeah, and then
This is
just
a family program.
Just enjoy your friends then, and be like, I don't know, they roped me into this. I don't want to do that. I don't even know. You don't even know the bride. How are you a bridesmaid? You don't know the bride.
You were hired, and honestly, low key, even beyond being labor, even beyond being a source of cash to siphon out from you. I almost get the feeling like they were like, oh, we need like a punching bag. Like we need someone that we can gossip about and, make it fun for us because we suck. That's almost like, it almost feels planned.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, there's definitely been cases where that does happen. But I don't know. Is it worth it to spend $1,200? Like, I don't know. Like how much money are you spending on going to the wedding? Can we
Is there
poll any other way you can hang out with them after the wedding?
Yeah.
Group text your friends.
I'm honestly,
what are we doing?
for wedding or not, I'm nah, because I think that think about this. If you collapsed, would it have been worth it? And I'm like, no. Like, yes, you want to see your friends. It would have been great. But the problem is all of these women are going to be there. Even if you say no to everything they ask, I think they're going to make your life.
Yeah. I don't know. Just reach out to your friends, figure out how to hang out with them, not at the wedding, I guess.
Yeah.
Because this sounds like a terrible situation for you.
Yeah. Do it with everyone in town. Do a little brunch or something right after the wedding, and invite the friends who can make it.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing. You get to see some of the friends, and you don't have to deal with it.
Got one nah.
Okay, so wait, the bride is her good friend I'm seeing in the comments? The
Vote, ladies and gentlemen. The
mother of the bride, she doesn't know. Either way, dude.
Yeah.
Too much.
Too much.
Too much.
It's too much.
And if the bride is her friend, why was she treating her like crap at her bachelorette weekend?
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the update. Here we go, boys and girls. Update. I am divorced and had a therapist around the time that I was going through that. We are being dropped in the middle of it here.
Okay.
But Dakota, I haven't spoken to her in over 2 years. I ended up scheduling a Skype session with her to get her take on how to handle this ridiculous situation.
Yeah.
Now we understand.
How do I divorce my friends?
Yes. How do we? Yes, good question. Can we divorce our friend at the wedding? That's what I want to know. Her overwhelming response, which I'm sure many of you would agree with, was, why the heck are you in this wedding and letting these people treat you this way? Fair.
Why?
Fair question. Besides the fact that all of my friends from all over would be at this wedding, the bride is an integral part of my social circle. Everyone I know knows her. She plans fun things all the time for our group of friends. So when the original debacle with the room cost came about, I thought about dropping out then, but honestly was fearful about how it would affect me socially. I see now that that was a huge mistake. If any of my quote-unquote friends were to take her side, or if I wasn't included in future things, that's a small price to pay for only having people in my life that treat me how I should be treated. Yeah.
Yowza. Is it getting hot in here? Because OP's cooking.
Oh, God. And it is getting hot.
OP's cooking up.
Literally.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
Is it? I can't feel it.
It's getting...
I'm a cold man.
Oh, God. He's a cold boy.
I'm a cold
He
man.
does cold stuff. Now, after talking to the therapist, we decided that I would, in fact, go, okay, because I wanted to see my friends and stick to my obligation, but I just wouldn't let them mistreat me or affect me. Everything they said, I would ignore if I could, smile and move on. If things got bad, I would just say I wasn't feeling great, so I needed to retreat to my room to rest. A good plan. Honestly, I don't know. Just quick gut take, Dakota. Do you think that's a good move, or would you still dip? What are you thinking?
It's just so hard to judge because it's like a complicated little political situation.
Yeah.
I would probably go and like just not invest, but I'm a psycho. So I can go places, and if the people are like, blah, 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 you suck, I don't like you, you do this, you do that, I go,
I do want to see you in a situation like that. I feel like it would be entertaining.
I had a situation where at some random party, these two know-it-alls thought they were grilling me on like philosophy or like whatever. Like they were like, oh look, this silly stupid little boy doesn't know what he's talking. And I just had them running around in circles, like trying to chase philosophical concepts that have no answer. Yeah. And they thought I was being the dumb one. And I'm like, you guys are just wasting all of your breath. And
come on.
I have you arguing about how a quarter at the bottom of a salt shaker is actually made out of salt because you can't prove it's not. They're like, that's the dumbest argument I've ever seen. I'm like, well, with this, yeah. And they're like, and I'm just like, yeah, this is great.
Moral of the story, play the annoying people. Don't let them play you.
Yeah, the moral of the story is do not care.
Don't care. Move on. So OP says, the wedding itself wasn't too terrible. I mentioned that I had MS previously, and all the stresses and the wedding and the shenanigans in Vegas the week before left me wiped out. I ended up arriving to the wedding the day before, hours later than I was originally supposed to. So I told the bride in advance that my MS was acting up and I really needed to take it easy and sleep in, which was true. And she was kind about that. Okay, finally. By doing that, I avoided almost all of the day before prep, which was a godsend because that's when Momzilla was bossing everyone around. The day of the wedding was pretty good, except for Momzilla being nervous and rude, but thankfully she wasn't only directing that at me, and lots of people were annoyed with her. The maid of honor was also on her best behavior because she was so nervous about her speech. The wedding night was a blast. Okay. I got to hang out with all of my friends like I wanted, which was awesome. We were told to clean up at the wedding at the end of it. Of course, we couldn't hire the cleanup crew. That's got to put our friends into janitor's outfits, of course, which none of us were expecting and was a pain. But all in all, I was glad I went. Now, the day after the wedding, a large group of us went to get brunch, and we decided to go back to the estate and use their amazing pools for the rest of the day. Since I arrived later in the day before the wedding and then had the wedding, I wasn't able to take full advantage of this amazing estate. I was really excited to do that. Well, when we returned to the estate, the bride tells me that everyone is going to a nearby hotel to use that pool instead. This made no sense to me. Why pay $25,000 for an estate and not even use it?
Boob job part 3 or part 2? Remember that story where all the friends paid the girl so she could get a boob job that she was cheating on the doctor with?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Is this a sequel?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Wait a minute. What
Wedding's
if-
gone wrong too. Rise of the silicone.
What if they'd never actually paid for that estate? They were like,
Remember, we have rich friend that paid, mind you, that paid $10,000 for a 1-bedroom hotel room.
Dude, that didn't even cross my mind. Why didn't I think that?
Bro, honestly,
all right, okay.
we are usually gods at calling it. This none of us saw coming.
For Kimberly.
Kimberly Fine says already called it. Okay, Kimberly Fine. Listen, you are on it. I can't lie, but I didn't see the comment.
Ice Swan boobies.
Yeah, it was so. She said she asked everyone to pitch in like $7 or $8 grand for this ice swan. The ice swan was the boob job.
The Ice Swan.
Yeah, and she tried to sneak off and get the operation during the bachelorette trip.
I'd be concerned. I'm
Field
concerned with
pictures.
all elements of that because regardless if my friend's like, I want an ice swan, I'm like, part of me just feels like that's racist. To have an ice swan, I feel like is a level of like nefarious, dastardly, like
Where's the race come into this?
it's just a vibe. I feel like if like you went to like a old like clan function in the 80s or something, they'd have an ice swan. Tell me I'm wrong though.
I think they would have something else made of ice.
Oh man.
What?
Like a burning cross? I
No,
don't
you
know.
can't make a burning cross out of
Maybe
ice.
their outfit out of ice.
They'd have the ice swan, and no one can tell me I'm wrong.
I think everyone could. Now, if they had the ice swan and they spray painted it black, maybe.
Okay, but it's inherently elitist, right? It's
Okay.
gotta be inherently classist, and classism and elitism go right in there together with racism.
I've got to say, Dakota, this is like the platinum like Emmy award winning free association thought that you've ever had. Like this is
Like I don't even think it's a free association. I think this is like a certainty.
a certainty.
I don't know. I've never seen an ice swan in the wild.
Ladies and gentlemen, please chime in on this in the I feel like the comments are going to be ablaze with this.
You
And
are. I'm wrong, Dakota, and editors need to cut that out. Uh-oh, do they like the ice swans over there in Sweden?
Oh my gosh.
You know, I heard some stuff about Sweden.
All right, let's get going.
Uh-oh.
Let's get going.
So we're going back to the story. And send people to a worse pool. Well, since I was leaving that day, my boyfriend and I took some time to pack up our room, clean up, and wait for some friends to come to the estate that were going home with us. This took about an hour and a half. We figured we'd go to the hotel pool and then drive home directly afterwards. Right before we were going to head out to the hotel, we realized that my cooler was missing from the room. Odd. So when we go to the main house, look around, no cooler. Then we were told by the groom's mother to check and see if it's by the pool. That's when we see that the party was in fact there, that over 25 people were hanging out by the pool for at least 2 hours. They were all pretty tipsy and comfortable. And that the bride's brother took my cooler from my room without asking me. I was so hurt. How come nobody told me about the change of plans? Why didn't someone text, call, or just walk to my room at the estate and let us know?
We know why, because these people aren't your friends, it feels like. It feels more and more with every sentence. People aren't your friends.
Yeah, this is, we shouldn't have gone. I'm sorry, we shouldn't have gone. I thought it was going to work out, but the vibes are not there. The bride saw us arrive at the pool and didn't move, and then very casually was like, oh, I didn't have my phone. Did you end up going to the hotel? Sorry. Oops. She didn't care at all. If she had made that mistake and was honestly embarrassed about it, I would have expected something like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I forgot to tell you that we were just staying here. I don't have my phone with me. It just slipped my mind. I'm so sorry. Please join us. But no, that's not how it went. Also, now my cooler is the adult soda cooler, And if I want to leave this place with my cooler and the cold food I brought ASAP, now I'm the villain for taking the adult soda cooler, and a bunch of wasted guys are promising to return it to me. Don't worry. We'll take it back. Right after we're done.
I'm gonna give you.
Nope.
I'm gonna give your cooler
Nope.
back.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, yes, because I trust anybody at that wedding to take care of my things or have my best interest in mind. We take the cooler and left them with some bowls from the kitchen. When I said my goodbyes and was waiting in the car, I found out that the bride told my best friend how incredibly lame I am and how disappointed in me she is. But ladies and gentlemen, I will be forever disappointed, nay, completely ashamed of you. You will never redeem yourself in my eyes because of one reason, Dakota.
And what reason would that be?
Because they're not choosing to take advantage of the fact that we have over 2,000 episodes, 53 straight days of content on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, or wherever you listen to your pods. Just search OK Storytime in your favorite pod app, and it's all going to be there, Dakota. I'll be ashamed.
It's true, and I'm astounded that there are people out here not ready to accept that
It's
truth.
disgusting. It's disgusting. But some brave people out there will do it.
There
and we love
are
those.
brave
We love those people.
folk,
Dude,
among
heroes.
us.
American heroes. We've got a little bit left of the story. Let's dive right in.
We all know how we feel.
We all know how we feel. Needless to say, I made the wrong decision months ago to stay in this wedding. I should have seen her selfish reaction to the money for the room as a much larger issue, not just a Bridezilla moment. Throughout the wedding, I overheard her talk badly about her own brother, how the groom's family is odd and poor, and even spoke badly to me about my best friend. She is nowhere near the person I had thought she was, and I'm honestly still appalled by it all. Lesson learned, don't let anyone mistreat you at any time, no matter the circumstances. I wish I felt relief over this already, but I don't. I'm hoping that comes with time. You know what? Did OP, choose to, self-torture and go through this? Yes, but the lesson learned, I think, is invaluable.
Yeah, don't go to places with people who don't like you, explicitly don't like you.
Come on.
Very obviously, almost proudly don't like you.
Straight up. They're excited to say how terrible you are.
Straight up.
Straight up.
Yep.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this story. But we have
Wowzers.
one more tiny one.
My sister thinks she deserves to be my maid of honor just because we're sisters. I mean, like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
Sometimes that's how that works.
Withholding
I've seen.
judgment. Withholding.
We need more info.
Mhm.
I've debated for the past almost 2 years about posting anything about this, but it still haunts me every time I see my family, especially my sister. My husband, 27 male, and I, 24 female, started dating in 2020. We were doing long distance for 2 years before I moved 2 hours away from my hometown to be closer to him. We both are very much date for marriage people, and I was and still am absolutely smitten with this man.
Oh, God.
So it was a very easy decision to make. By the way, this comes from user dosyllabub5558. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I also am very different from the rest of my family, and living at home with them was, to put it lightly, toxic.
Ooh.
Just a cesspool of toxic waste. As soon as I graduated college and found a job in my now home city, I moved out. We talked about getting married, me and my boyfriend, but across a few personal roadblocks in my family, like people passing away, severe illnesses, yada yada, we found it inappropriate to celebrate a potential proposal and postponed our plans for engagement and marriage for almost a year. Then in mid-2023, we found out I was pregnant.
Oh, very
Wow.
nice. Got a baby.
I'm sure the family's going to be thrilled about that. Right?
Oh, boy.
I hope so. My husband and I were absolutely thrilled. As we always talked about having children, and though this was before marriage, we are Catholic, I see you. We were certain that this was what we wanted. We decided that we wanted to be married when the baby arrived, so we had 8 months to plan an entire wedding. His family was more than supportive and helped us from the day we told them the news all the way until now. My family was the exact opposite.
Here we go.
We drove back to my parents' house, sat down with my mom and dad at the dinner table, and we told them about the pregnancy. To say they were angry would be an understatement.
Oh, boy.
To sum it up, my mom cried and yelled about how she, quote, wished she could be happy for me, and that I hadn't even lived my life yet. And why weren't you on birth control?
Thought we were Catholic. Pick a lane.
Yeah, it might have been because that's probably not allowed, right? Do the Catholics do that? Do the Catholics do that?
Feel like
I don't know. I'm not tapped in.
I feel like that's their whole thing is they have 1,000 children.
Catholics sound off. Is birth control allowed? I don't know.
Sound off.
I'm not in it.
Sound off.
My dad yelled at my now husband to get his head out of his behind if he thought he could raise a child and finish school at the same time. He's in nursing school. So what are these people screaming about? Like,
Nothing.
what are these this kind of
Nothing.
response is so dumb because you're not accomplishing anything.
Correct.
The only thing you need to do here is going, oh my God, that's amazing. And we're going to be next to you during the whole process and we're going to help you.
Yay.
Yep.
It was about 45 minutes straight of them yelling at us while my husband defended me and admittedly did most of the talking. We left abruptly and headed home, myself in tears and my heart absolutely shredded. Now my sister comes into the picture. For some background, my sister, 26, is 2 years older than me and a carbon copy of my mom. Very moody, very unapproachable. We are complete opposites, and our childhood was a lot of me trying to be friends with her and her pushing me away, rolling her eyes, the usual big sister stuff, I guess. My most vivid memory of this is actually on video.
Oh, my.
I went through a phase of wanting to make videos, pre-YouTube vlogger vibes, and there is one where I pan the camera over to my sister and ask her to say hi, to which she looks over at me, scoffs, and tells me to leave her alone.
Okay.
We never really spoke on a regular basis, but really quick, I'm not a sibling. I'm an only child, but I had cousins. That is very normal behavior. I know OP is like, my sister never liked me, but it's like, that's big sister response right there.
Listen, if you are making your very first YouTube videos, you're putting yourself out there, maybe the most vulnerable thing you can do in your life, and you get stop talking to me.
I mean, yeah, but
soul crushed. Your soul's crushed.
I just mean that it's not an uncommon sibling dynamic for the older sibling to just be like, ugh, leave me alone a lot, right? I don't know. You can feel how you want to feel about it. I don't know. My cousin siblings all beat the heck out of each other with pillows. And
Oh, God.
it sounds not bad, but it's like they would stuff them down to the bottom of the pillowcase and then spin it around. They were basically like pillow flails, and we would concuss each other with them.
Okay.
It was so much fun.
Oh, child.
We never really spoke on a regular basis, but we were somewhat polite with one another over the occasional text and whenever we saw each other at family gatherings or home visits. My husband didn't like my sister, but was cordial, and she clearly felt the same way about him, which she would later openly say. I had specifically said at the end of the conversation, quote unquote, with my parents, that I would tell other family members when we were ready, as I was thoroughly traumatized by the shouting match with my parents. 2 days later, I get a call from my sister. She immediately asked about the pregnancy, as my mom had already told her everything, excluding the hurtful things that my parents had said to my now husband and me. I told her the whole story and mentioned that I would be getting married within the year prior to the baby's arrival. Her response was, "Are you sure?"
Sure about
An
that?
eye roll and a skeptical, "Okay," and the call ended. Over the next 2 months, my parents at some point decided that the fight had never happened and never apologized and would show up at my apartment door with my aunt and grandmother in tow unannounced to visit, since I wasn't telling them every detail about my life. Shocker.
I know this is heading. Once that baby pops out,
They want it.
all bets are, they want it.
They want that baby. That's why they're like, "What are you, a plum fool? Pull your head out of the sand, you dang ostrich. You think you can raise this baby while going to nursing school?
Give it to me.
Shoot, I don't respect you."
You can't nurse anything, especially this baby, so I will take it.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
This is an entire story in itself that I'll spare you for now, but essentially they would show up, try to convince me to forgive them without saying they did anything wrong. Huzzah. My mom still entirely denies ever saying the "I wish I could be happy for you" comment, but I will never forget it. Gotta love it when parents do that, right? Like, I didn't say that. I'm like, it's seared into my frontal lobe.
Come on.
Or my hippocampus, my bad. That's frontal lobe is responsible for personality,
Delicious.
not memory. I had started planning our wedding with the help of my now sister-in-law, who was super supportive and helpful with color ideas, cupcake selections, table arrangements, etc. I never expected the fun stuff that comes with weddings since we had 8 months to plan everything. So when it came to selecting our bridal party, I didn't have much in mind for maid of honor duties. My husband was set on his brother being his best man, and I paired his wife, my sister-in-law, as my maid of honor. Despite the tension in my family and my sister openly not liking my husband, I reached out to my sister and asked her to be a part of my big day and support me as one of my bridesmaids. She agreed at first.
Okay.
Here it comes, folks.
Okay.
We know what happens now.
Yep.
Sister goes, "Why am I not the most important one? Aren't I your sister?"
Why can't I wear a white dress? Why do you get to?
After speaking with her, she followed up with a text and asked if I was having a maid of honor. I said yes, but I have my sister-in-law in that position. Immediately, my sister said that she was owed the maid of honor position since she is my only blood-related sister, and that if she wasn't going to be maid of honor, then she wasn't comfortable being just a bridesmaid. I tried to explain that there wasn't even really a maid of honor with duties in the wedding at all. It's just a title to put on our wedding booklet. This is where I'm probably a little bit of an a-hole. I just didn't want my sister as my maid of honor since we have never really gotten along. She didn't like the man I was marrying, nor did she support the marriage at all, and she had completely different ideals and tastes from me. I was simply too exhausted of this constant arguing over a day that is supposed to be a day of my husband and I getting married to get into yet another argument justifying why I chose my sister-in-law over my sister. And you're not an a-hole for that.
No.
It's not like your sister was going to be like, "Oh, well, now that you've said that, I respect your decision."
Yeah.
You made the gut check call of like, "All right, I'm not going to explain." You know, it's like when like a little kid asks you a question that's like, "That is way too complex for me to answer for you to understand, buddy." So you just go like, "I don't know." You know?
Honestly, I think the answer is, hey, look, it's just my wedding, and that's just what I like to have.
Yeah, sister-in-law's maid of honor. I don't know. She's not even doing anything. Just, I don't know, placate her. Just being like, I hate you. Don't say that. I had already had to change most of what I had always dreamed of for my wedding due to the time crunch and not fitting into my dream dress with my 8-month pregnant belly. I wanted my sister-in-law to be my maid of honor because she had been my best friend and greatest support for the past 3+ years. This did not sit well with the rest of my family. Since I'm 2 hours away, my family did a solid job of spreading across my aunts, cousins, grandparents, neighbors, etc. that my sister was a victim, and I was so inconsiderate for not having my sister in my wedding before I could ever tell anyone my side of the story.
Classic.
Keep in mind, she turned down being a bridesmaid. Her decision. I would receive cards in the mail, phone calls, and text messages from my family and extended family asking why my sister wasn't in my wedding and why I was pushing away my family when they had done nothing wrong. And it doesn't end here. 5 minutes before I walked down the aisle, the priest officiating our wedding walked into the room where I waited anxiously to see my husband. He came up to me, we spoke about some wedding stuff, and at some point he goes, "Oh yeah, on my way here, your sister accosted me in the hallway. She asked why I, the priest, didn't convince you to make her your maid of honor. I just thought you should know."
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, she was coming down with literal holy retribution.
She's literally like, bro, how come you're not bringing the wrath of God on her for her misgressions?
What is that movie with Ed Norton? He plays that king, the kingdom of heaven. Is that what that is? Where he goes,
Yep,
silence,
yep.
silence. Silence, sister-in-law. A neglectful sister is talking. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I was livid. After 8 months of planning my own wedding, dealing with hiccups in venue payments and other details, going through my first pregnancy with only my husband and his family as support, my own family constantly gaslighting me and interrogating me on why my sister wasn't in my wedding, dealing with constant sickness and general anxiety, literally my entire life changing. Now she chooses my wedding day to stop the priest in the hallway and ask why today wasn't about her.
Wow.
Woo! Send her back to the factory, brother. She needs a settings system reset.
Reboot that girl.
Woo!
Golly.
Woo! The ceremony was beautiful, but I spent the entire time fighting back tears from being so overwhelmed and dreading my own wedding reception, which would have all of the extended family that had been on my sister and mom's side of this feud. During the maid of honor speech, which I had asked my cousin to record, my sister stomped across the floor in her heels, interrupting my sister-in-law, who is pretty soft-spoken even with the microphone. She's just like, that was weird. I don't know why that was done, but I guess I'll just continue on with my speech. And I have nothing against sister-in-law. She's a sweetie pie.
She's a
Soft-spoken sweetie pie. Yeah.
She's great.
In this bit I've crafted. In the moment, I just assumed it was one of the kids being dramatic with the tantrum. It wasn't until other guests came up to me and asked what my sister problems was and how rude it was to disrupt the speech that I realized it was her. Honestly, the rest of the wedding and what went wrong could make a whole other post. Maybe I'll update with that crap show, but for now, I'll save it for later. And by the way, you can save over 1,200 hours worth of stories for later. You can listen to them. They are full episodes with stories like this on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts.
Wow.
Search OK Storytime and there you will find the archive.
Hooray.
And you can listen to it until the cows come home.
Moo.
And they're coming home in 53 days.
Let's go.
And that's how many days worth of stories we got.
Oh, God.
So we have a little bit more story here.
Give it to me.
Are we going to kick the family out, like, before the reception?
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I think you need to sit him down and be like, listen, either you start behaving or you're going to be escorted out security. Let's get some security. Let's get some muscle on the scene and be like, hey, listen, I would love to have my family here, but as Helena Bain says, so many full-grown toddlers, you can't be a baby. If you be a baby, then I take you out for a little nappy.
It's true. Baby night.
Yeah.
That's
what I think.
I agree. I think there should be a 2-strike system. You mentioned my sister how she should have been a maid of honor once. I let it go. You mentioned it twice. You're being removed by Terry. Terry's 7 feet tall.
Oh, God.
And it's
300
Terry
pounds.
Terry Crews.
Of lean muscle.
His pecs are bouncing
He's
on
a
your face.
Specimen.
Slapping you with them.
They call him Scary Terry.
Let's go.
Okay, fine. We'll finish the story. Now, here we are, over a year into marriage, and with a beautiful 1-year-old daughter. I don't speak to my sister much and have mostly forgiven my parents. I still struggle with thinking about the screaming and hurtful words when they babysit our daughter. I never spoke to my sister about her behavior on my wedding day, and I just keep any conversation with her minimal. Am I the a-hole for not making my sister my maid of honor at my wedding, even though she said she's entitled to it just by being my sister? Nope. You're the a-hole for letting those people babysit your kid?
Yeah, they don't got to do that. I mean, maybe she needs the help watching them, but hey, at the end of the day, not the a-hole.
You gotta find a different, if those people are like screaming at you and I don't know, I would be like, if you scream, I'd get cameras. You need nanny cams. You need to make sure that they're not yelling at the kid or screaming at the kid while they're watching it. Because I get it. Sometimes you need that support system of like, all right, free child care through my family. Understandable. However, you need to make sure that they're treating the kid right.
That's right. not the a-hole, and you can go even further. You can give them some distance, protect the kiddos. But ladies and gentlemen, we are the a-hole because that is all the content we have for this episode.
That's true.
So,
If you love us, make sure you subscribe.
we love you
And see you tomorrow.